Much for being here with us today, and welcome to the next episode of our Injectables EDU Business Blueprint series. Today, our topic is website review, how to boost your bookings and brand. Very exciting. Um, Thank you so much for being here with us. If you have any questions, you can enter them in the chat box that's on your screen at any point during the presentation. We'll have a Q&A at the end of the webinar. And if you heard that disclaimer just a few moments ago, we are recording the webinar and you will receive an email with a link to review the recording once we're done. So no need to take notes. You can watch this as many times as you need. Um, just to get used to the chat feature, let's hear from you. If you guys want to share where you're from, what state you live in, and how many years you've been in business in the chat box, we would love to get to know you a little bit. So go ahead and do that now if you'd like to share with us. And then let's meet our speakers, two of my favorite people in the world. We are joined today by Suzanne Jagger and Cassie Lane. They are the geniuses of all things medical aesthetics. I'm sure you know Cassie, our walking knowledge base from the Injectables EDU site. She is behind all of our free resources. And then Suzanne Jagger, you see her popping into our Facebook group all the time, sharing you the information that you need to know. Thank you, ladies, for being with us today. I am so excited to hear what you have to say today.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm
And then
excited and nervous. Everybody
Yeah,
will.
that was too big of an intro.
oh
Live up
no,
to.
well, I couldn't
Yeah.
lie. I couldn't lie to the people. And maybe I'm a bit of a brown noser. I don't know, but we're so happy to have you here. And then we have our guest speaker today. She will be shredding websites live. We have Megan Reed here. She is the founder and creative director and a marketing coach at M Reed Studio. And she is a two-time summit speaker and will be returning for a third time this year, sharing just everything you need to know from A to Z about marketing, branding, and website design. So Megan, hello. We're so glad to have a little sneak peek today.
I am so excited to be here.
It's gonna be a beautiful day. And you guys, before we can really start in the good stuff, there are a few things that we have to say to keep our lawyers happy, but take a moment and look at them on the screen. If you want to take a quick moment to screenshot those and review those later, it is the least interesting thing we will cover today. So I think that covers it. Thank you to our lawyers for giving us this guidance. And with that said, we are ready to shred some websites. So Megan, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Thank you. Well, I am very excited to be here today. I am going to be shredding a lovely Cassie Lane aesthetics website. So that's right. Cassie from Injectables EDU was so gracious to allow me to shred her own medical spa website. It's based out of Richmond, Virginia. So I'm not going to make you cry today, Cassie, but we are going to do a deep dive into her website, and I'm so excited to get started. Before I do, I wanted to address some of the Q&A that was already bubbling up. There was 180 of you that registered for this webinar. You guys were already sending in questions, and there were two that kept bubbling up that we need to address at the beginning. I think it's going to be very important. One of them was like, do I really need a website for my med spa? Absolutely, 100%. But one question you can ask yourself to really get clarity on this, is this a hobby or is this a business? If you really are looking to make some true revenue goals, if you are going beyond just friends and family, if you've got some goals for yourself and you want to get out of the hospital, you're going to need a website. It is a table stakes of doing business, and it's something that Google really needs to see that you have, and your clientele really needs to see that you have. Without it, you are absolutely going to be losing every day to competition, and that is a bad place to be. And just to even further enforce this, your ideal client is going to look at 3 to 5 other competitor websites before making a decision to book. So without that website, that's going to be just an overwhelming red flag to them, and your competitor has already gotten a leg up on that conversation with them. And for those who really love social media is great, but just a reminder, you all know this, like your followers are not going to see your post all the time. So you're really at the whim of somebody else to try to help you get ahead with And when you've got a website, you really can control that lead and you can put them in your own funnel and really have ownership of that. So in 10, 15 years, you might say, hey, I'm ready to sell my business. Well, then you've got actually something to sell at the end. Okay, I might have just convinced you that you need a website. And then that second question that bubbles up is, well, can I just build my own website? Well, I got another question for you on that one is, what is your brand promise? Specifically for your industry. You guys are in the brand promise of beauty. There is just absolutely no way around that. And you have to think from a consumer standpoint, you are touching the number one, pretty most popular thing that they think about themselves, which is their face, right? Like this is just hypercritical for women. I know you're going to help men out too, but really your lead that is coming in will most likely be a woman. And we say, and a lot of you say in your own branding, you guys use the term aesthetics, right? The average person knows this to be in relation to making something beautiful, right? You know how to facial balance, you know how to play with light and shadow, and when filler is too much and when filler is just the right amount. And so your brand promise is already saying, hey, aesthetics, it's really important. And if that's what they're already primed to get, and then they go to a website that doesn't match that, it's a red flag where they're going to be like, I'm gonna look at another website maybe. So bad design hurts your conversion rate by 50%. This is a sky high metric, and this is for all industries. So you can't imagine what this is going to actually be for a spa and wellness sort of industry. Your conversion rate is highly coveted, and to have that cut in half is a scary place to be. And again, we don't want to judge people, but everybody does it, right? That's just the unfortunate part about marketing to humans. It's going to take place. And 75% of consumers will judge your credibility by your website design. So absolutely, you could, but you could actually be losing money by not doing that. Okay, that was just my 2 cents. I wanted to get that out of the way just to help you guys kind of see where I'm coming from before I go into Cassie's website. Cassie, are you ready for this?
I am ready.
Okay.
Suzanne prepped me. She told me not to get my feelings hurt. And I said, luckily I did not personally make this website, but literally every single website can use sprucing. And I think everybody is lucky to have a website review. Because I don't know, just like inside of our business, you should always be trying to make yourself better, and there's always room to grow.
Absolutely. That is such a great point. There's websites that I have designed 5 years ago that I'm like, man, I would love to get back in there and do it, because digital design, there's always good taste, good best practices, but things evolve, things change, technology shifts, right? Technology shifts like every 6 months. And so making sure that your website's always keeping up with how you want to present your business will dramatically shift and grow those first couple of years that you are in business. And so always just having that time to take that deep dive is so important. Okay, so I'm going to really concentrate on the homepage. Another important thing that I want to point out is I'm doing this from the desktop just because we're doing a webinar. It's easiest for you to see what's going on. But Cassie, I'm pretty sure most of your traffic is on your mobile. Your stats are probably about 70 to 80% mobile traffic. Your core site does a good job of like flipping back and forth and showing about the same things, but from an easeability, I want you guys to see it on the big screen so you can follow along with me a little bit better. So when you first hit this website, just pretend you don't know anything about beautiful Cassie. You're going to see right away, okay, weight loss must be an important thing for this business. You've got a big promo bar. I love that you have a promo bar. I really use those a lot as well. However, this one's a little horsey. I would tighten that down a little bit. But I'm so glad you do have something out there that you're promoting. You also have some really great quick hitters. You've got the call us, you've got 2 numbers, so you're making that very clear for them. One thing that I think is really interesting is the social media up here. Most people will put these up here, but from my vantage point, I am trying to get the most conversion rate. So I do not like to take my traffic out of my website. Your website is your 24/7 salesperson. So I want to make sure that these can be found, but I don't want them to just go there right away. So I like to try to keep these more in the footer, more below, but that's just kind of how I look at it. Some of these are redundant, so I would clean those up too as well while I was in there. But the main thing is I've landed here. I see an organized menu. That's really great. A big, beautiful appointment. I wish it had more of like book now or something that really kind of like spurred a call to action with it. But here, this beautiful video hero is taking place. And this is called above the fold. So just like a newspaper, if you folded it in half, your big splash would be right there at the top, right there hitting them in the face. And although we have this beautiful visual image, which we love visuals as humans, so this is really great. It's got motion. What I think is really missing is that first impression from a big brand hit with them of giving them something unique about Cassie Lane Aesthetics. What really drives you and helps make that emotional connection with your leads. So there is no overlay with text. There's no button on this. And I would really prefer to see that right away to help them. I have to scroll down to get that welcome statement from you. And I don't like having to do that. You've got some statements within this text that you could really easily lift and shift, feel truly empowered in your skin, right? I'm talking to that end user, making a statement that's talking to them, that's really short, sweet, to the point, look your best, feel your best. I really like that too as well. Again, trying to reemphasize that we're here for them. This is a safe place. These really carry the same weight. You'll see that the headers are the same size on font, that it's in the same sort of, formatting. There's nothing really unique about this. So it's probably they will just kind of shift through this and keep scrolling. Let's get more of a taste. But they are probably going to miss some of this text of like what you really do here. You'll see the call to actions are really about browsing treatments. So we're going to get to that here in a second. Down here, you've got a really good shift between, hey, we can help you from aesthetics and we can help you from a wellness standpoint. There's nothing wrong with that. That doesn't really bother me. However, we do have this view all treatments and services. What I would really prefer to have is some, again, really pointing to you what you do unique. Because again, even if this is the first website they've been to, they're going to go to more, or you're last on the list, and they're trying to decide who they're going to go to get that Botox appointment. I would love to see signature treatments, best sellers, things that you are really, really good at right there at the beginning to help them give a taste that they can start poking around in and seeing the good work that you do, because I know you've got some signature stuff. I also know that you have beautiful photography. So I would love to be seeing that really be the hero, because walking into the space is a treat, right? It's a beautiful place to be. It feels like a spa. You should be championing that because you spent a lot of money to get that done. So that should be like, hey, when you come in, there's something unique about us. You're going to see it. You're going to feel it. And we have been in business for 5 years. We're nationwide trainers. We have 300 plus Google reviews. We should be championing this a little bit more. I love this Meet Cassie and the team. The ones that I work on that don't thrive, and it can happen, is when they try to do a faceless account. Again, we're talking about the face where people are trying to get a really good emotional connection with you to get that trust level to make that booking appointment. They're going to want to see your face. So this is really great. We're showing off the team. I would love if this image was even bigger so they could really see it a little bit more. This learn more about us, that's really great. About us pages actually get usually a lot of traffic because again, we're women, we want to feel this, this impact with your team. However, you don't have a true about us page. You have our staff page, but we all know, right? Staff is going to change. There's just no way around that. But Cassie Lane Aesthetics should have some pillars of value propositions, of value differentiation statements, some key branding to say, this is what makes us the unique little starfish that we are, and we're not going anywhere, and you are in a safe place. There should be, hey, is this your first time coming in? Love to see you, come on in. This is what it's going to be like. So I would really suggest, and I know I'm talking really fast, but I'm trying to squeeze in maybe another page or two to review, because I think you guys can really even audit your own site, or if you're about to work with a partner, you know how to kind of help nudge them if they've never worked on a medical spa website before. Testimonials, perfect. You want this so much. People want to see that other people love you. That's an expert status. The fact that you're saying how recent these are, that they were posted on Google, I couldn't love this anymore. Cassie, kudos, kudos, kudos. This is exactly what you want to see. You even go a step further, which this I don't see a lot out there, is the video testimonials. This is really great. The only thing that I would love to see with this is they are pretty long. I doubt anyone really sticks around more than 30 seconds on these videos. So it'd be great if there's a little overlay that said what they're going to talk about, right? Was this someone fresh to Botox? Did this one get an 8-point lift? You know, was this on a weight loss client, or, you know, however things are shifting and changing. But it would be really nice if we could help kind of guide them before they clicked that play button. But also to take a step further, you want to reuse this, you know, this probably cost a little bit to get created. So it'd be really nice if these also were found on the individual landing pages of, you know, Botox, of derma filler. It would be great if we could just reinforce it that way. Okay, see the results. Before and after images, so impactful. Right? If you were going to go to a plastic surgeon, wouldn't you want to see what they're up to? If you were going to go get your own Botox done by somebody else, wouldn't you want to see the results? This really speaks, proof is in the pudding, if you will. I would love to see this further up on the conversation of this page. I would like to see it higher up because people really do love to see these, and it really gives that nod of confidence without even having to read anything. Even if you got someone who's not a reader, they're going to take a look at this. There is a mismatch going on here though, Cassie. It says see the results, but then once again, we're taking them to view all treatments and services. So we've got a mismatch there. This should be taking them to the gallery, which you only have one image here. This could be more, but I would have to be sophisticated enough with your website to know that I need to go to the About Us section to find something called Gallery. I would love this to maybe be retitled, right? We're not an art gallery. We've got real results. We got before and afters, things that really mean something to the average person to want to really click into that. But again, I would love to see that linking on the homepage and shown off more on the homepage instead of being hidden. Next, we fall into start your own aesthetics practice. I'm an injectables EDU lady. I love it. But we only have, you know, so much going on that we can squeeze on a homepage. And your core audience really needs to be for the med spa. It does not need to be for starting an aesthetics practice. You don't want them to get all of a sudden like just scanning really quick and being like, oh, wait, hold on, I'm on a training website. That's not what I need. So you can use it to show your expert status in certain sentences on the about page, on maybe those like quick hitters at the top to say how long you've been in business. You could also say like we're you know, nationwide trainers as well. So you are in great hands because we always know the latest and greatest. And then you would put that link under, you know, About Us. Follow us on Instagram. You guys have done such a great job on your Instagram. I love what's going on there. If you don't follow them, do it. They can give you a lot of great tips on how to do this well. Again, you are not a faceless account, which is so good, which is so great, right? That's that emotional connection being built up. I honestly don't mind this as much having it because it's further down on the page. However, big X on the get in touch with us today. We should be talking about memberships, right? We should be using this to really show off images of the space. We should be talking about what it's like to get a consultation with you. We need some more space back, and this get in touch is not what our number one conversion is. Our number one conversion is to book an appointment with you. If they need to get in contact with you, they're smart enough to go to the contact us page. They're going to find that if they're wanting to get more information, but we need them to drive home on an action. And that action is like, if this is your first time, you're booking a consultation with us. Featured articles, you'll see this a lot on med spa websites that were built by an agency, and it's a great thing because Google likes to see fresh websites. So a way to do this without adding new treatments and services all the time is to do featured articles. It's a great way to have a blog, to keep it relevant, to have another way to go after keywords. My suggestion here though is let's give it a new name. We're not in the news. We need to do something like beauty secrets, from Cassie, or your glow up guide or something. I would retitle this, get rid of all the stock imagery. There's no reason for you to ever have that, Cassie. I know I've seen your actual gallery of images that you've got, and it's a ton. Kill the dates. This is what we would call evergreen material. So we don't need to be calling out, in red what month this was posted. This needs to feel fresh all the time if you're going to have it on a homepage. Down below, this is your footer. This is really important to have it nice and neat and buttoned up. This is well organized. It's super clean. I love it, especially because you have an accessibility statement. Guys, this is no joke. Like, people do get lawsuits for this. Another reason why maybe doing your own website or maybe having your uncle build your website might not be the best. Privacy policy, you do need to have terms and conditions on your website. That is very important. You can also get fined for that as well. So I love to see this. You're in great hands there, which is just such a good thing. But let's go up from a funnel, from a marketing standpoint. Let's just say I didn't make it through all of that. And I really was like going probably right here, because it has a lot of white spaces, probably is kind of where you got stopped. Right here, I'd be clicking view all treatments and services. And here's the experience. I probably right away, this image to a normal person is going to be bothering them because you're seeing that indentation on the skin of the needle. No, normal people don't like that, right? We know that's part of getting Botox and filler. We totally get that, but we don't want to always be reminded of that. I love that we're having some diversity though. So if you are going to use a stock image, that was good. But again, this is the #1 landing page, which it is for you, for how this homepage is designed. This should be so Cassie Lane aesthetics that it's just almost disgusting, like you just need to have it so buttoned up. We have this drop down, which at first glance, it feels like, okay, great, it's organized, right? This is only the aesthetics. It doesn't have wellness. So even though the promise was this is all treatments, it's actually not. But most people are probably going to go to Tox just to get a filler. They know what Tox is. But when they're going to open this, they're going to see stock imagery. I would love to see that replaced again. There's a lot of jargon on here that actually isn't copywritten, or, it isn't verbiage that has been written specifically for Cassie Lane aesthetic and your business. So I would love this tightened up, because what's happening is this drop-down menu should be taking them to your true dedicated Botox page, which is right here, which is a completely different page than this. But they're trying to get people to convert right off of this. You can't even find your Botox page from this. So if you didn't know your site enough, you'd be like, okay, this is all I can find out about her Botox treatments. It's book an appointment online, but is that the next step, right? What if I just want a consultation? I love that you've got before and after images, but when I went to your true Botox page, I saw a really good video. Like, I know you've got more stuff there. And again, we're not wanting to ever take them out, because once they're in Instagram, what's going to happen? A really cute photo of a dog is going to pop up. They're gone. An hour or two later might go by and they're like, oh yeah, I was going to book with Cassie. We want to stay within this ecosystem. So if you did, just for example, if you were on the Botox page, your landing pages are so hypercritical. You need a landing page for every treatment. Do not try to squeeze them onto one. You will not rank from the keywords, and you will also not give the experience to that person who is on your site the way they need to be sold to, especially if this is their first time. I would be reworking this title, right? This is doing nothing for most people. These are stock videos. We don't need to be doing that. The way this is written, it's kind of harder to scan, right? There's no titles, there's no subtitles. This is the video I was talking about. It's like, there's a video, this great video, Cassie, where you're talking so well, and it's just so warm and inviting. I would love to see that promoted more. If you want to talk about something else, make sure it's further down at the bottom, right? If you're like, hey, if you were looking for more volume, this is great. I can sell you into our derma filler. Let's take you to that page and you can get a taste for it. This is fine to do kind of like a collapsible FAQ style. I think that's a really great way to give some of this more harder to digest material and a great way. So I love this. I do like what's going on right here. But the call to action. So you got them here. You got them to stick around, which is great because Google's going to look at your bounce rate. They're going to look to see how many pages deep they went. This is fantastic. We can say now, they went 2 pages deep. They've been on for a couple minutes on my site. These are all great numbers to have. We need to have right here. We don't want them really to call. We want them to book an appointment, right? Before they overthink this, we want to get them into a place of yes. And I will end on one thing that I think I've had conversations with people where there is actually an issue going on with the booking platform. It's not even the website. Yes, we can always go to perfection on a website. But really, what is reducing the friction that is causing this to take place? So if you clicked on this book an appointment, what's going to open up is your aesthetic records. So if I just, again, put yourself in the shoes, you're brand new, you don't know anything about aesthetics, you've never really gotten Botox before, and you're looking around, you go to the homepage, you find the talks, somebody recommended, so you're like, yeah, you know what, I'm definitely booking with Cassie today. So I go here, it could put on pause because you don't even get to see the open availability. That you have to create an account. And if nobody recommended, Cassie Lane Aesthetics to you, you might be like, you know what? Hold on, before I give them consent to text me and to email me, before I even know, because right now at the beginning, it's saying, hey, there's an appointment wait list, right? That's a signifier that there's a wait list. I should probably look to see if anybody else can get me in. And I just am not confident or comfortable giving this information because again, we haven't even sold them that there would be a consultation. Like, what does that even look like? Do I just come in for the service? I would prefer to see something more like this when they would land on that. Perfect, the consultation. Hopefully the consultation was discussed on the website. So they're like, yep, that's the one I want to book. Okay, I can pick the date and time. All right, yes, I'm 100%. I've already invested this much. I'm doing this all the way. Ooh, okay. I know that was a lot and a very short amount of time, but I wanted to give you as much information as I could because it is a little tricky. When you're auditing a website, there is a lot of things that could be coming into play that could be real friction points that could be stopping that ultimate conversion. So if you've got other questions, hit me with them, type them in that chat box. And I'm gonna start poking around on those and seeing what we've got.
I would say thank you, Megan. That was awesome. So I'm really excited. I'm glad it was recorded so I can although I think you might have just earned yourself some more work, so you might not love that.
Oh no, I'm exhausted.
Yes, Megan, thank you. That was fantastic, Cassie. You doing okay? That wasn't so bad, was it?
It stung a little at first, but then I started to get really pumped about, these are all doable things, right? Like,
yeah,
I
yes.
know.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but what I'm so excited about, digital is the best place to be, right? This isn't a billboard. You didn't get a huge sign outside and realize you misspelled your business name. Like, this is digital. It's just, get it in there, move some things around, reorganize your closet, if you will, and you've got a really good pumping machine all of a sudden.
And you know what, Suze? I hope you don't feel too left out. We did not get to your website. But the good news for you and really everyone else here who might be coming to the Injectables EDU Summit this year is, Megan, you will not just be reviewing one website live, but during our Injectables EDU Summit, you will be reviewing several websites from people who are at the summit. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. So part of one of the sessions that I will be doing is live website. So when you purchase your ticket, you can put in that you agree that I can do this. So I'm going to be picking a handful and doing that live so you can learn even more because again, I'm going to give different advice for different people of where they are in the stage of their business.
Totally.
And also during breakfast, like this has happened to me, every year during breakfast, during lunch, people come up and they're like, take a look at my website, just help me out here, or take a look at my logo, or take a look at my value props. Is this going to move the needle? Like I've been doing this for I'm an old woman. I've been doing this for 20 years. I've been doing it for people like Tyson Food and Otis Spunkmeyer, like huge brands. And so it's an honor to be able to be like, hey, you want to try to run with the big dogs? Let's do it, because you can. It's absolutely possible.
Oh man, that is so, so cool. And I mean, at Summit, we're going to be covering so much marketing stuff. It's not just websites, but it's branding. And then outside of that, we have hands on training, we're doing business, client retention. Susan, Cassie, I'm going to pass it over to you. Can you tell me a little bit more? What are we covering? It's so much.
Suze, why don't you take it away since I'm still recovering from my website trip.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. What we really loved about this year is we've taken it to the next level. So every year the day after Summit, Cassie and I actually sit down and write down all the things that we loved and then all the things that we need to do better next year. And so right out of the gate, we already leave like the day after Summit with a whole plan. And part of that plan that we really wanted to execute on this year was having a big practice management component. So whether it's you have a new practice manager, whether you're acting as your practice manager, we have a lot more tools specifically because people are asking for actionable deliverables that you can come to Summit and then leave with this tangible thing that you can go home and implement. That's so important because a lot of times you go to conferences and you get concepts or ideas, and those are great, but really execution is everything. So we need to walk you through the nitty gritty of how to execute on these things. Just like Megan did with this website, is she gave Cassie, 10 things she can do tomorrow to make her website better. And we hope that you leave almost every lecture at Summit with 5 things that you can do again tomorrow, over the next month, over the next quarter to move your business in the right direction.
Yeah. And to piggyback on that, one thing that jumped out to me, I think one thing that I oftentimes feel like at conferences is mostly that I'm being sold to. Like
Yeah.
maybe the ticket was at a low price, but it's because you are what's being sold at so many conferences now. And the speakers are all sponsors. And the thing that is just tantamount to us is keeping this about the learner and about our community and about connection. And a big focus this year is this, like, what am I going to walk away with? I mean, I'm sitting here with a list of 11 things that we're going to have as far as like tangible takeaways. You're going to have a custom Excel sheet to organize all your KPIs that we hope that you'll be able to fill out during workshop with us, injection maps for advanced talks areas, common legal issues, revenue targets that are very specific based on years 1, 2, and 3. I mean, the list goes on and on, like event playbook, employee comp guide, how to implement a membership, and a step-by-step, like very clear consultation plan that I've implemented in my practice. So I think that's kind of the theme for this year too, is just really, really bringing the value, and it is definitely going to be there. I'm really excited.
It's so funny. I think I was there last year, and it's the only time in my life I've seen people so excited to do more work, right? Everyone leaves feeling so happy and just so invigorated and excited about kind of what's coming next for them in their career. So I'm excited. It's this April 25th through 27th. We're getting a little beach vacation in sunny Orlando, Florida. I will say for anyone here who is interested in coming, we are selling out fast. I think we have less than 50 tickets available. So if you want to come, the time to snag your tickets is right now, and especially before our hotel block ends on March 31st. So make sure that you can stay at the same place as everyone else, get easy access to where the conference is, and just kind of make the whole process a little bit easier. So the time is now. I hope everyone will get to join us there, but we will tell you more about Summit later. But for now, let's get to these questions. I pulled Oh, no, you guys, we have a treat for you first. So, as a thank you for coming to this webinar and enjoying the website review, we are doing a special offer just for you guys. You can get $200 off of your Summit ticket. We have the code here, Summit200. You can screenshot now, write it down, or we will send this to you in an email. So please do not stress too much. We will make sure that you get this. But we want to make sure that if you want to come, you can come there and join us. So consider this a gift from Cassie and Suzanne to you. And one more thing before the Q&A. I just want to let you guys know kind of what's coming next after this webinar. For you, we do have a private Injectables EDU Facebook group for medical aesthetic professionals to just network with each other and ask questions and share your success stories. So join our Facebook group. Come to the Injectables EDU website. We have tons of free resources, from guides to Botox to how-tos about weight loss programs. I mean, everything from A to Z is there on the website, and we are updating it constantly. And then also, if you enjoyed this time, you can sign up for a mentoring call with Cassie or Suzanne. It's 20 minutes, it's free, and you can ask whatever question you want to ask within reason. But sign up on the website. And again, we will be sending you an email that will have our webinar recording so you can watch this again, the coupon code for Summit, and then links to all three of these things. So keep an eye out for that in your inbox when the webinar is done. And now the Q&A. From our registration sheet, I pulled a few ones that were coming up more often than others. The first is, okay, I built my website, I've got it set up, but once it's there, how do you get people to go there?
So this is a really great question, and it's a question that everyone should be asking themselves when they build a website. I'm going to have Suzanne and Cassie chime in too, because they have done this for years in this industry, and you got to hear it from them. They really have invested in marketing to do this. But really, from an SEO standpoint, from a search engine optimization, this is where monthly you are making tweaks to your website to help make sure that you are above your competitors on that first page for a number of keywords. You're going to have a long list of keywords that you're going to go after, that you're going to be trying to get on that first page. There's a saying in website design: if you want to hide a dead body, you put it on the second page of Google. That hasn't changed, regardless of what's happening on AI chat. And how that's kind of moving. Search is still top dog, like 8.5 billion searches a day, and it's only strengthening people to go to these websites. So making sure that you're playing the keyword game, that you're investing in that. Your Google business page, it has to be optimized for local SEO. That's how you get those Botox near me searches. Google looks at their IP address, that looks in location to where you are, how many Google reviews you have. Ladies, if you are launching really soon, I need you to have at least 30 reviews out there. And I know 30 people, right? Like, they can leave a review and give you that 5-star that you need. You need quality nods from Google. Google is going to want to see that, because Google isn't a business itself, right? If they continue to serve up crap, do you think people are going to go to them to search? They're not. So they only want to serve up what they can define as experts in this industry. And so by doing a Google business page, by getting those reviews, by keeping it updated weekly, this is really going to help strengthen you, as well as working on something called backlinks. This helps to show where you also reside in authority. So there's a lot of technical things that go along with a website build. It's not like Canva. I really wish it was. It is not there yet. But there is a lot to do with local SEO that's going to really help you. And that's a great thing, right? Because you're not trying to get everyone across the nation. You're just trying to hyper, focus on a target area. But ladies, chime in, please.
The number one thing I see is Google My Business. And I know that was the first thing that you mentioned, but I think it is worth calling it out again. Getting those, doing everything you can to get Google reviews. We have automated text messages that go out to people based on what service they came in and got, where we say, hi, and this is generated by the system. Hi, insert name. This is Cassie or Chadwick or Julia, whoever they saw for their service. This is Cassie at Cassie Lane Aesthetics, and then kind of like a personal request for that review. Since we started using our names as the provider in the request, we've seen a huge uptick in people leaving responses. So sometimes it's little tweaks like that can make these really surprising differences. In anytime somebody learns about you, the first thing they are going to do is go to your website to fact check you and go to Google My Business, and then they're going to go to your Instagram. I mean, people research their injector very intensely. like disproportionate to probably any other medical provider that they will seek out. They will really research this. So you've got to kind of have all these touch points to build trust. But by the time they walk through your door, when you're doing your marketing right, they feel like they know you and they're already very comfortable and well educated about your practice when they walk through the door. And that really is invaluable. What can you add, Suze?
Yeah, no, I agree with all that. I wanted to make a point to people that are getting started is that oftentimes the website is an afterthought and they start doing it after they open. And really, it should be the leading thing that you do because it takes so long for things to get indexed and be found by Google. And also that Google My Business takes a long time to actually get verified and get tracking. So there's nothing more frustrating than opening your doors and then, oh, working to get your website up and running. And you're like, why don't I have any traction? Why do I have any business? And Megan, I mean, you can tell how long does it take for Google to start indexing and then like really spitting out something useful? It's like 6 months.
I mean, yes,
It
this
takes
is
so
why
long.
it takes so long, and it's what's so frustrating about marketing, and there's never any sort of like, oh, it'll just take exactly 3 weeks.
Yeah, no.
Never. I can never tell you that.
No. And I know when I even moved locations, it was almost a full year before
Yes.
Google actually had recalibrated my maps. It was still driving. Even though I'd updated the website, I'd updated Google My Business, it was still there were cookies and old stuff. And so it took months, if not a full year, before the old address actually fell off. And that's really frustrating for all parties.
We were
You know
just
what?
talking about in our mentorship group about the frustration of changes you make today. You're looking at 6 months, possibly
Mm-hmm.
sometimes a year to really see the fruits of it. And when you are newer, like that is really
An
frustrating. You're
eternity.
putting out all the work and you're not seeing the rewards. Oftentimes these rewards are these slow, minimum 3 month turnaround, if not 6 months a year.
Yeah.
And
And same
Suze,
thing with like Google ads. Oh, sorry, Chelsea.
no, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, poor Megan's working with me on Google Ads and how many emails is she annoyed with me? And I know this stuff. I know it and I'm still bugging her and she's like, you have to wait for it. And I'm like, I'm not patient either. Like, I'm not. And she has to be like, sit down, Suzanne. And I'm like, okay, fine. But
I
I
mean,
want it done tomorrow too, because it's
yeah.
your dollars going out the door. Like she's
Mhm.
implementing it. But when I look at that $1,000 bill and I'm like, I don't know that this $1,000 is going to what I hope it will be. Like I sit there and hope, but that's what marketing is. It's a little bit of it's equal parts like gambling and risk mitigation and intelligent, planning and experience. And it's all these things. And then you hope it comes together.
And Suzanne, I would say it's finding a really damn ethical partner in marketing
Yes.
that's going to do this too, because
Right.
I almost don't like to tell people I'm in marketing because they've been burned usually at
Yeah.
some point by some snake in the industry. They're definitely out there.
We had a consulting call with somebody who just left their marketing company after spending thousands of dollars month over month to only find out that all their Google ads were in the wrong city. So like what? And she's like, it wasn't working. It wasn't working. And you don't know, like you don't know. You can't be an informed
Right.
consumer on all things. And they're like, look, we're getting all this traffic for not her. So anyway, it's brutal out there.
It's hard out there. And I love that you reference the order of operations, Suze, and kind of when you needed to do what, because that brings me to one of our other questions that came up so often. People would ask about seeing other people that they know have success with an Instagram only strategy and just being live on social media and not having a website. And so, two questions kind of came out of that. Number one, is Instagram only a strategy that's even an option? And if so, how do you do that? How do you make it work? So, I'll hand it back to you to answer that one.
Oh, well, Cassie, do you want it or me? Look, it can't be. As what Cassie mentioned, Instagram is a verification tool. Unless you are the top 1% of Instagram, TikTok, whatever, it is not a lead gen for you. It is like flipping through a Cosmopolitan or Cosmo magazine. Like you're like, oh, there's a fancy thing. It doesn't drive any business, particularly because it's not hyper local to you and you're just not big enough. So what people end up doing is Google, Botox near me. Then they find a provider that looks interesting. Then they'll go verify you on Instagram that you're not you don't do weird stuff, that you don't look weird, that they know, like, and trust you from your Instagram. That is the point of it. It is not a lead gen.
Yeah, the days of that are done, where you just on
Done.
a page and book directly from there. I mean, it maybe a decade ago, even 5 years, a decade ago, maybe that was flying, but not anymore. I mean, med spa owners are getting more savvy. The internet and AI, I mean, everything's changing so rapidly, like that the days of that, and just straight word of mouth, if you want to grow and make this your real, revenue stream, unless you're in a tertiary city where you went to high school with half the town and you just post on Facebook and everybody knows, then the days of word of mouth referral alone are done as well, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I'll just chime in really briefly on that too as well, that's, guerrilla marketing. That takes a person who is a natural born salesperson. They have been working their community for years behind the scenes, and you have to ask yourself, are you that person? Right? Like, that's the reason why some people don't have to run ads, because they just are so well known in their community. They've been priming them for years. And so, yes, some people can do that. It is such a low percentage, and I bet you want to make some money. And I'm not sure, as a fellow business owner myself, I wouldn't recommend that as a strategy. To me, that seems really scary when you are doing things like purchasing product and, trying to have a successful business. That would put a lot of pressure, I think. And most people I hear really do not enjoy being on social media that much. So if you love it, if you've been really priming your community and you are a natural born salesperson and you love to sell, only you can answer that, that question.
Well, and I love when the answer to a question is so clear and so direct. Is that an option? No. You guys, the ladies have spoken, and you need a website, absolutely. So I think we have time for one more question, and I think this one will fit in well, really great with what we last talked about. So you have to have the website. It is of dire importance. What are some of the platforms that you think are the quickest and easiest for someone starting up to work with? So kind of what are your recommendations for what platforms they should look for their website?
I would only recommend them doing this deep dive if they truly feel like they have an incredible grasp on digital design, if they have a really great grasp on market psychology, and they really understand the technical aspect of SEO to even go down this path. I get it. You might be like, hey, I need to save up some more money. I do want to start out. I'm starting out incredibly slow. And but what I see is people use website templates and the design crumbles the moment they put their fingers on it and try to touch it. And again, it goes back to accessibility, issues. It goes back to privacy policy issues. And it goes back to trying to make as much money as possible when you are making that splash. Like, here I am, you're trying to put that professional good appearance at the beginning of your business, not at the, after you've been around for a while and you're trying to re-engage and get people's opinions of you to change, right? That's very hard to do, to change people's opinions of you. But I would say when you're working with a professional, most people are going to suggest a couple of like the bigger ones out there, WordPress, Wix, and they're usually doing this for a number of reasons, because I think of website design as I'm building you a house. I need architectural drawings at first. I need to create a sitemap, and I need to make sure, what are your growth goals? Like, where are you going to take your business? Because if I create a really shitty foundation for you, it's going to be so hard for me to add that second floor on. It's going to be, harder for me to help you branch and grow. And so, yes, at first glance, these things are going to sell you that this is, easy, but I so caution like I just against it, because I've seen how that feels not to make money at the beginning of your business, and how you don't have endless cash to just keep the doors open, waiting for the people to come. There's my thoughts.
I built my first website on WordPress and I give it 0 out of 10 stars. Like it's so time consuming and it's not where I should have been spending my time. I should have been spending my time getting patients in the door, representing my brand. Like this is a place that it makes sense. As long as you have the budget to do it, this is a place that it makes sense from day one. And don't have your son do it. Don't have your friend's husband do it. Interview different companies. You need multiple, make sure you like their vision, make sure that there are clear deliverable dates. And what happens if you go past that date? How much do I start getting back once you go past the promise date? What is something, just have some deliverables, interview multiple places, look at all the other websites that they've done. There is no like magic fix, and doing all this is hard, but do yourself a favor of getting a professional website, because it will really boost your business, and you having the time and bandwidth of not doing that will also boost your business.
And I'd also add one last piece as someone who's familiar with the med spa space. Like anyone can be an amazing website designer, but there's niches, and you need to know this market and what is usual and customary and drives traffic. And if they don't have that experience and they're figuring it out, like you get to be the guinea pig. It's never a great solution.
No, but if you find Megan at the breakfast table at Summit, you can find a great solution. I think that's what the answer to all of our problems are. You guys, that was so much information in such a short time. I know we went over time a little bit, so I'm going to wrap up our webinar. But to everyone here, thank you so much for coming. Megan, Cassie, Suzanne, that was just absolutely wonderful. Thank you guys so much for sharing your expertise with us today. Everyone else here with us, thank you so much for joining. We are so excited that you are part of the Injectables EDU community. Please keep an eye out in your inbox for the playback and tons of links and free resources. And of course, a coupon code to come hang out with everyone you see here today at Summit. We are very grateful that you are here, and we hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye, guys.